Steel boots stomping, crashing the floor. Two wild Yinzers kicking through the door. Loud like a jag-off at a pins game fight. Brace yourself, this ride ain't polite. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Tales from the burg with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. From the bug with a hint of mayhem. Pierogi powered, nothing can constrain them. Knocking back stories like an icy cold brew. You never know what these two might spew. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice. Rivers collide where the laughs always flow. Black and gold thunder everywhere they go. The madcap kings breaking every mold. With two Dum Yinzers, the stories don't get old. Two Dum Yinzers, loud and proud. Heads in the clouds, voices in the crowd. Chaos brewing, they don't play nice. Hold on to your iron and grab your prime anti-slice.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 869 of the Two Dum Yinzers. And guys, I got to be honest with you. There's no shows better than these kind of shows because these kind of shows only come on game day. Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome back to the big Two Dum Yinzers game day installment of the show. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back. Glad to see everybody this morning. Nice to see Miss Pittsburgh on the board this afternoon, and glad to see Bingo. Guys, welcome back to the show. A lot of things to go over today, a lot to get ready for as the Steelers fight in a pretty important game tonight, albeit it's not a must win, but you know what? If you want things to stay in your own power, if you want to be able to still control your own destiny, the Steelers got to win this football game tonight. So that is big for these guys. We're going to get in what they have to do to stop the Dolphins. We're going to get into what we have to do to score on the Dolphins, and so much more today. We have overs, unders, predictions, also keys to winning. So much, guys. Good morning. Welcome back to the show. Good morning, Tortilla. Mike Tomlin Monday, baby. What's up, Tortilla, big baby? Yeah, Steeler freak in the house. What's going on, everybody? I'm feeling hype. I don't know about you guys, but this Monday night cannot get here fast enough as the Miami Dolphins are in town. I can confirm they are in town, and it is cold. And it is really cold. Of course, Miss Pittsburgh and some more people that are local know how cold it is right here, right now. But let me explain it for everybody else that doesn't know. It's going to be roughly 4 degrees tonight. I think it's something along the lines of like 10 degrees. Feels like 3 or 4. So, I like this advantage. Of course, listen, every football game in the NFL is a good game. It isn't like there's any cupcake games anymore. Miami's going to be just as tough as Baltimore was last week. It's just the way the league's playing out. And speaking of the way the league's playing out, a lot of things played out yesterday. We'll get into that and so much more today. Welcome back, guys. Glad to see everybody. Glad everybody's here. Good morning, Cody. Good morning to everybody. RB, guys, good morning. Let me ask. All right, I got to give a homework assignment to somebody real quick before we get started. Miss Pittsburgh, you were the first one in the house this morning. I need you to do me a huge favor. On Thursday, just remind me to fire Derpy. All right, that's all. That's all I need. Just Thursday, pop in. If you're here, just say, hey, don't forget to fire Derpy today. I don't want to get into it today. We don't have time. I wish I had more time to talk about it, but he's on the hot seat, and I'm this close from firing him. So if Miss Pittsburgh reminds me on Thursday, I'm cutting Derpy's ass. So be ready for that, guys. Whole lot of things going on today. Good afternoon to Lindsay, everybody on the board. Let me get on the board. I don't want to miss anybody today, especially because it is game day, guys. Welcome to Steelers Monday. Here we go. Miss Pittsburgh says, good afternoon, everyone. Here we go. Bingo says, oh, I hate wrapping presents. This is the worst time of year, in my opinion. My God, is this the worst time of year? Everything about right now sucks. Cody says, good morning. Bengals fucking suck. They're not having fun out there. You know what? The Bengals eliminated. The Chiefs eliminated. A lot of things went down yesterday, guys. We'll get into that so much more. Pittsburgh, I'm sorry. Miss Pittsburgh says, here we go, Steelers Nation. That's right, baby. Here we go. Big day. Tortilla says, Mike Tomlin Monday, baby. John Steeler Freak says, Kansas City fans are screaming for Reed's head. They are supposed. You know what I'm saying? I seen this, and Kansas City fans are ready. They're ready to let Andy Reid go down the road. They missed the playoffs for the first time after going about 15 straight Super Bowls, it seems like, and the fans are calling. So we're spoiled? No, I don't think so. Almost a decade without a playoff win, I think gives you the right to complain. But again, these guys went to and won so many Super Bowls and were involved in Super Bowls and AFC championships, and the fans are ready for him to go. And you know what? I'll take him, to be honest with you. But here's something interesting to go along with that, though, John. They will have 3 meaningless games. The Chiefs will have 3 meaningless games. They are eliminated from the playoffs, so their remaining games will be meaningless for them. Now, Mike Tomlin, say what you will. Say what you will. Say what you will. Mike Tomlin has only coached 1 meaningless game in 19 seasons going here in Pittsburgh. One meaningless game where he coached, where the game had no meaning, where we were eliminated from the playoffs, blah, 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 blah. Listen, I'm not starting the whole Mike Tomlin debate. That's maybe tomorrow, depending on how the game goes tonight. But interesting enough, Andy Reid, as good as he is and successful as he's been in his whole career in Philadelphia and Kansas City, just this week alone, or just this season alone, is going to have 3 meaningless games on his schedule. Again, Coach T only has had 1 in his career coaching. So again, do what you want with that. It's just an interesting statistic. I don't really want to put too much into that. Ms. Pittsburgh says we control our own. That's right. We went. Listen, we have to. We have an easy path. We truly do. Yes, we're going to struggle. Yes, it's been a weird year. Yes, the Steelers haven't been playing great. But at the end of the day, this is the schedule that you want. I would rather take our schedule than Baltimore's remaining schedule. Of course, they beat Cincinnati yesterday, but at the end of the day, they still have New England, who just took a loss. They also have the Packers, who just took a loss. And also they finish up against us. So, guys, you're going to see the Packers team and this Patriots team. They're not going to want to – you want to start playing good at this time of year heading into January. So, again, I don't expect both of those teams to take 2 straight losses or another loss in 2 weeks, again, as the Packers game would be. But, again, guys, I like our chances a lot better than I like Baltimore's chances. Yes, they did go to Baltimore. Yes, they did. They went to Cincinnati, won that football game 24-0 yesterday, which brings them back within a half game of us. But again, we lose tonight. If we lose tonight, we'll be tied with that tiebreaker, which would still keep us in front. But that's the safety net. You don't want to lose this game and survive off of the safety net. You want to keep especially if you want to prove that you belong in January. If you believe that if you believe you belong in January, you go out and you win this football game tonight. Leave no doubt. Don't leave it up to everybody else. Don't let it come down to other people's losses and wins and have to wait around, sit and wait for these guys. But that's what they got to do. You got to go out and beat the Miami Dolphins in 4 degrees. These guys have been living in 75-degree weather consistently down in Miami, South Florida. Just as of late, it's been. I checked out the temperature. It's been fluctuating between 72 and 77 degrees every day down there. Again, 4 degrees. It's about 10 degrees tonight. with a win chill of 4. I like it. I like it. Again, Miami's record in December is terrible up north. I threw it out a few days ago. As a matter of fact, it's on another sheet. I don't know what I did with it, but it's really bad, guys. I think it's 13-47 or something like this since the year 2000. Miami just does not win up north in December in those cold months. It just is what it is. Hopefully, we can take advantage of that, guys. A few other things that we'll get into that we definitely have to take advantage of if we want to win this game tonight against the Dolphins. Again, this could be the 23rd straight Monday Night Football win at home. And you want me to blow your mind even more than that? I mean, that sounds very impressive, right? 23 games in a row, home Monday night. Listen to this. The last time we lost a home Monday night game, anybody want to take a guess? 1991. The Pittsburgh Steelers have not lost a Monday night game at home since 1991. Yes, all things must come to an end, but no, I don't think it's going to be tonight, guys. I think we expand the streak. I think we extend it and continue moving forward. And again, you get a couple wins in a row. You win a nice big game against your division foe last week to take that first place, and then win on Monday night where you've been 0 for 3 this year on primetime games. Get that win. We'll worry about Detroit next week, who happen to take an L also over the weekend. So a lot of things, guys, a lot of things to get into. We're going to look at the scores today. We're going to look at how the division looks. We're going to look at how the playoffs look, and so much more. Injuries, keys to winning, and just, again, cold. You could not appreciate this weather more. Come on, if you're a Steeler fan and you're playing a team from South Florida, this is what it's all about, in my opinion. Bring them on. Bring them up here. They're terrible in December. We get this win, baby. We're going to be looking real nice. Again, just one game closer to getting to the end. Detroit's going to be a whole different beast. We'll talk about that all the rest of the week. But right now, guys, our main focus is on the Miami Dolphins tonight, where the Pittsburgh Steelers are 3.5-point favorites at home. This is the final game of this week 15 in the NFL, and the Steelers take on the Dolphins tonight at 8:15 on Monday Night Football. Before I do move on, I do want to say this. Last week, I talked a little bit about the league being a bit bizarre in this world of conspiracies, in this world of just strange things that goes on anymore. It's not the same world that I grew up in, for sure. And I'm not for sure what the reason is, but I do know this. I do know that the NFL is 100% different than it was when I was growing up. There's so many things different about the NFL. I say this every week. I say every game comes down to the final drive, it seems like. I mean, take a look around. All the power teams all of a sudden aren't power teams anymore. All of a sudden, teams that weren't any good are in first place and have the best record in the league. Denver's sitting there right now with a 12-2 record after 14 games. And again, you just continue to go down these standings, you will see what I'm talking about. Very, very bizarre year. Joe Burrow, of course, coming back, looking like one of the children of the corn. There's just a lot of things going on. And this is what really caught my attention. 2 weeks ago, after we lost, and we got the coach got booed out of the city, basically. You remember this game a couple of weeks ago? All right. So in the post-conference, Mike Tomlin makes this comment. He says, well, we are in the entertainment business, and people in Pittsburgh, wins entertain them. Okay. Now, that's not the first time I've heard sports entertainment business. Every time I hear sports entertainment, I start, where does this connect to? The WWE. Now, with, again, the way the league has transpired into what it has, all of a sudden, a wrestler that might have retired years back might surprise you one day and show up at the big match and run down there, get everybody excited. Isn't this what Phillip Rivers did? Have you ever seen a 44-year-old quarterback saying, you know what, I'm coming back to play? And then in 3 days, coming back to play. And then in 1 day, starting and throwing a touchdown. Come on, guys. I don't know. It's just kind of bizarre to me. It feels very WWE. And again, if that word sports entertainment is thrown around anymore, you got to pay attention. You got to pay attention to it because, again, that's always been the thing that's kept sports and sports entertainment separate, was that word entertainment in there. So just an interesting observation, guys. A strange league. Vegas hopped into bed with the NFL about 5 years ago. Things would start changing. So again, I don't have the answer, but it's certainly a little sus in my opinion, guys. So we'll certainly be continuing to pay attention to all that stuff and so much more, guys. Let me jump back on the board here. Cody, my man, says, good morning. Bengals fucking suck, and they're not having fun. That's right, my man. Oh, let me scoot up a little. Ms. Pittsburgh says this. She says, we control our own destiny. RB, my man, he says this. It's a must-win. Baltimore owns all the tiebreakers. They do not. We have the head-to-head right now, and we also have the division. Once we beat them last week, we have the division, and even though they beat Cincinnati yesterday, we still have one less loss in the division. So we actually hold the first two tiebreakers. Beyond that, Baltimore may have them. It's conference win or common opponent wins, I think, is the next one, in which I'm not sure if we own or not. Ms. Pittsburgh said the Ravens shut out the Bengals yesterday. Whooped their butt, absolutely. 24-0. I wasn't expecting that. I'm going to be honest with you. I was expecting a little bit more of a fight from the Cats. However, that did not play out. Lindsay says, hey, always good to see Lindsay on the board. Hope you had a great weekend. Hope you're ready for Christmas. Tortilla, he says, if we win, Derpy gets it. You know what? That's about it. He's on the Mike Tomlin hot seat. If we win, I might forget to fire him. Again, if we lose, I'm sure I will fire him on Thursday. Thank you, Miss Pittsburgh. You are the best. That's why I asked you. She says, I will remind you. Thank you so much. Vegas, my man, says this. Did Derpy shoot milk out of his boobs again? No, not again, but I'll get into it more as the week goes. Again, a lot to get into, and I don't want to damper the Monday night game spirit that everybody has going on, getting ready to go into this game tonight against the Miami Dolphins. I will talk more about Derpy as the week goes on. Bingo says this, maybe Bed Bath & Beyond. I don't know. I don't know if there will be enough time. Vegas says KC is screwed next year too. Cody says I had to make a motherfucking train out of cardboard for my son. Somber and Tyrone heard the crash out yesterday. Nice, man. Bingo, and I do want to say everybody got in on the picks. Jamal missed it, but you know what? I'll keep reminding him. I don't care. I'm going to keep reminding him no matter what. But everybody did pretty well. Again, we'll wait till through tonight's game before we talk about the CBS pick'ems tomorrow. Once all the games are complete for the week, everybody did pretty well, except for myself. Atlanta screwed me again, but that's for, again, a whole nother day. Cody, I'm sorry. Bingo says Joe Burrow's officially a head coach. Right? Right? Steeler Freak says if Derpy wins, I will pay for his breast reduction. Oh, man. I don't know if we have enough money to bring down them breasts, baby. Mark Malone, what's up, dude? Always great seeing the great Mark Malone. He says this. Mark Malone says we still have a month to figure out our BS. Just got to stay on top of the North. And any way you slice it, the Chiefs are out. Joe Burrow's out. The Pittsburgh Steelers in first place. Now, granted, we're not the 05 Steelers and not the 09, but where we are. And we are in first place again, still basically for most of the season. Anthony U5, why? I do want to say welcome to the show. Great seeing you, my man. He says this will provoke a real challenge. Our chain is no joke, and TJ on the strong side of the defense. You know what? We're going to get into that with injuries, of course, guys. TJ will not be playing, and Duggar will be playing. And a few other things that did pop up. Arnell Washington looks like he'll be playing. Also, I think Derek Harmon is a game time decision at this point. So we'll get into all that here shortly. But you're right. It is a challenge. And that is going to be one of the keys to winning this football game is you got to stop that run. You got to stop that run. And another thing, being so cold. I mean, you don't know what the elements are going to be like. Is it going to be windy? Is it going to be snowy? Is it going to be wet? So you're going to turn Miami into one dimensional, which is exactly what they've been, which is fine. It's focus on stopping that run and see if Tua could find a way to beat you outside of that in the elements. I don't think it could happen. So again, stopping the run is key. There's nothing more important for the Steelers tonight than stopping the run game, as the Dolphins have been very effective this season, certainly as of late. These last 5 games, give or take, against the Jets defense, against the Saints defense, and a few of these other defenses. But I'm not rolling. Listen, that's not saying anything because, again, we've been susceptible to struggling against the run as well. But just throwing it out there. Feel the steel, my man. I hope you're ready for the big game tonight. I know you are. He says, what's up, Watt fans? Teflon Dawn sucks. Tortilla says, it looked like a homeless guy's house. What, Derbies? Okay, I don't know where you're talking about. Tortilla says, a California 1 square foot apartment. Vegas says, a 3-way in Cincinnati is cheese, spaghetti, and chili. It sure is. Bingo says TJ Watt better be under a warm blanket on his couch sipping chicken broth. Take it easy, man. Right. I agree. Again, collapsed lung, guys, was the call from last week after Wednesday, a workout. Going to the hospital, and it was a collapsed lung, partial collapsed lung. And they did surgery, and he's okay, and he's healing. Of course, he will not be involved tonight. And we know that he may. It doesn't rule him out for next week. It's what is being said. Bingo says, gross Vegas. Yinzer Joe, what's up, Yinzer? What's going on, brother? Always great to see you. Gang, my man, Tyrone. My man, how you doing, brother? It's game day, man. It's what we talk about. It's what we wait for. Here it is, my guy. How you doing, sir? Let's go, Miss Pittsburgh, always. Armac, my man. Vegas, I was a senior in 91. That was the last time the Pittsburgh Steelers lost a Monday night football game at home. 1991. Pretty crazy when you think about it. Steeler Freak says this Packers may have injuries too. Dude, Packers losing Micah. Looks like Parsons, he's going to be out with that blown knee. Patrick Mahomes blew out his knee. So again, what just falls into that crazy year. Nobody gets a hammy where they're back after 4 plays anymore. Everything is so damning and ending in the NFL with injuries. It's crazy. Here we go, Steelers Nation. Miss Pittsburgh. Yinzer Joe says, I guess the Dolphins were practicing in the snow last night in the cold. I still don't think they're ready for this. You know what? They came in at 9:30 on Friday night. I was monitoring the situation, and they came in Friday night, and I don't know which high school it was, but they were at a high school field practicing at 9:30 on Friday night in the snow and in the wind and in the elements. And, they're out there with their T-shirts on and, trying to whatever it is that they try to do when they barely wear anything in the freezing cold. But I got to be honest with you. Once you get out there and you start, listen, I walk out to the car, I'm ready to fucking die. These people got to be out in that for 3 hours, hitting one another. So again, is it beneficial for the Steelers? Because our guys are human too. I would tend to think there's a bit of a benefit. And again, the Dolphins generally don't play well in the North in the December. So I like our advantage in that whole area, guys. Again, roughly 4 degrees, which is almost 30 degrees under freezing. Just throw that out there, guys. Very, very cold here in Pittsburgh. It's unbelievable. Let me get back at it here. There we go. Bingo. Bing Gabe for Gainwell tonight. I think so. I mean, couple guys got to step it up, man. Does Jonnu Smith step it up tonight? Is this the game that we finally see Jonnu? I mean, you get some of these revenge games. Guys get a kick out of that. Is this going to be Jonnu's game? Maybe Jalen Ramsey. Maybe he makes a something big on defense happen. But again, they also have Minka too, so we can't be floating the ball out in center field with that in mind as well. Hope Warren and Harmon play. You know what? From what I'm understanding, Tyrone, it seems like they're both game times decisions, but they both seem relatively positive from every report that I've seen so far on both Warren and Harmon. So we'll continue to keep our eyes on that. Big Pun P4X, my man, what's up? Great seeing you on a terrible board, brother. He says Joe Burrow put up more interceptions than points, most overrated quarterback in NFL history. Miss Pittsburgh says, yes, Joe Burrow is an entertainer. He's something, man. He's something. He looks like a serial killer. I don't know, the eyes ever since he's came back or something. I don't know what the hell happened, but again, I think he might have got the Illuminati visit. He might. If he shows up next week with the black eye, then we'll know something is up. Cody says, old man Rivers looked old. You can't tackle him. He's too old. My grandpa built this house with his bare hand. Yeah, and I'm watching him, but he looks sharp, man. He looks, I mean, for a guy that hasn't played pro football in 5 years, stepping in against an NFL defense, and got to say, he's back with that shot put throw. It's just that weird kind of like a shot put. But it's entertaining to say the least. But doesn't it remind you of Ric Flair's back? Oh my God, Ric Flair's back. What's he doing here? And he comes down to the ring, and he's older than everybody else, but he starts beating everybody. Again, watch that word entertainment. They stick in there, guys. I'm telling you. Yinzer Joe says this quarterbacks play beyond their prime. has only become possible because of Tom Brady, and now Rodgers is still playing. Rodgers still thinks he has something to give to his to the game instead of his 12 kids. Rivers, I'm sorry. Kenneth, what's up, dude? Always great seeing the great Kenneth Jones on the terrible board. My man, I hope you're ready for some Monday Night Football. Are you ready for some football? Kenneth says this, it's a must-win tonight, man. John says Rivers threw for 120 yards and an interception. His old ass is ass. Armax says Rivers just did well for his age. I agree. For only being on the team for 3 days and, minimal practice, minimal playbook. But again, who knows what he knew? Who knows how long he's been involved? Because again, he finished up with the Colts before he retired. Now back with the Colts. So who knows what he knew? He might have had access to playbooks, things like this. Also, Cody says, "What up? Our favorite Ken." That's right, man. Also, Tyrone, I got cooked this week with these. Dude, the picks are rough this week for me too, man. I kept thinking, all right, the first part of the day yesterday, I was doing okay, probably about a 66%, give or take. And I was like, I'll get it in the second part of the day. And I blew just as much in the second part of the day. So I need tonight. And of course, I took the Steelers. So I don't know if it's going to help me, but that is what it is, guys. Right here. Kenneth says, I think Burrow checked out. Dude, either that or, like I said, he'll come to the game next week and he'll have a black eye. And then next year, his team will go undefeated wherever the hell he's playing. It's a very weird vibe. It's for one in the NFL, for two, Joe Burrow, for three, I'm just saying, watch out for this guy. Once these guys get weird, the success takes off. Next thing you know, he's going to be doing, I don't know. What's the country singer, whatever he was, that had the big satanic thing going on in that dome. I don't know what his name was, but just watch. Just keep an eye on Joe Burrow. That's all I'm saying. I don't know what he's up to next, but again, certainly being a little different lately. Mark Malone says that's the gift that keeps on giving. Kenneth says, Cody, what's up? Cody says, Derpy's still eating the popcorn. Yes, but that's not why he's getting fired this week. Vegas says this, it's sad that there are women jealous of Derpy's cleavage. It's true. It's true. Bingo says, so cold my pit bull is pea shy. Yeah, man. It's really cold. And you know what? I don't envy anybody going down to the stadium. I really don't. This weather is no joke, man. 4 degrees again with the wind chill tonight around game time. Lindsay says this, boo Robert Morris for letting Miami practice. That's okay. Well, they were Robert Morris. Gotcha. Cody says, Kenny, your evil twin Ken Shady Grady was here the other day. We had to jump his ass. I still don't know what to make of Shady Grady, but we'll kick his ass whenever he comes. Just Learning, what's up, dude? Always great seeing Just Learning on the board. He says, remember when they wanted to fire the Miami coach? He's a good coach. It was Robert Morris, right? Okay, that's what Lindsay's saying. So I'm gonna believe Lindsay. DK 100 yards tonight is what Tyrone is saying. Tyrone always says game day in his bitch. Hey, baby, you ain't kidding. I can't. And the thing is, I say all the time, I would rather be a Sunday afternoon game. I want to wake up, read the paper, get ready for the game, make my lunch or whatnot. But you know what? When it's Monday evening and the time is here, man, it's nice to sit back in the evening and just watch football, watch your Steelers. And again, I think a winnable game. So hope this is a good one tonight. Shaking my head, Robert Morris. Bingo says, who's this out Hinchke guy? Pat Mahomes is I don't know, but I do know that Gardner Minshew is the guy that is playing in Kansas City now as the Kansas City Chiefs. Who would have thought they would be eliminated from the playoffs so early? We'll get to the teams that were already eliminated, the teams that are still in the hunt, and the teams that are in here shortly. Richard, my man, he says, happy Monday Night Football. Go Steelers. Yes, this was a wild weekend of injuries. You ain't shitting. A lot of crazy stuff happening in the NFL. And it just makes you wonder, too. Does the crazy stuff have to do with the league being a little different? I don't know. Again, injuries aren't just a hammy, stretch it out, get back in 4 plays. Injuries are different nowadays. Is that I don't know. Again, just putting it out there. Vegas says they used to just tape up your torn hamstring really tight over your game pants and pads and send you back out there. Right. You're right. Cody says Travis Kelce got his back blowed out. Yeah. That guy nailed him, man. Tyrone says JPJ. All right, man. I do. JPJ is a good jersey. JPJ is a really good jersey. Vegas says will it be Travis Kelce or Travis Kelce Swift or Travis Swift Kelce or just Travis Swift? That's a good question. Good question, Vegas. Yinzer Joe, I do believe Duggar is supposed to be playing. What we do know about Duggar from last week was he missed last week's game after he had a cut on his hand and it kept reopening. That was the problem. Remember, he was kind of a game time last week. He had that injury nobody really talked about, but apparently it was a laceration on his hand and it kept getting broken open. And that's why he wasn't involved last week. Again, you know what? But that's again, I'm going to get into these injuries real soon. And there's some big news in here, guys, whether you caught it or not. Regarding our secondary, we'll get into that here very soon. Bingo says the curse of Megan Trainor with the knee brace. LOL, it happened. Or Armax says Tyrone, you got to wear TJ, man. Tyrone says only Watt and Pierre out. Mark Malone, the nature boy, has nothing on Budge Rivers. Cody says this. Ryan, join us on Discord tonight if you're not busy. Bingo says got to rock the Herbig jersey tonight. You know what? I'm kind of hoping that Herbig has a big day. He's going to get his chance. He's going to get his snaps tonight, guys. So Tortilla says I'm rocking the Mike Tomlin jersey. Tyrone says hi, Smith and Herbig eat. Jen, what's up, Jen? Always great seeing Jen on this Steeler Monday. Jen, hope everything is well for you. Yinzer Joe says the stereo killer is Boswell. Burrow looks like Macaulay Culkin. I'll laugh my ass off. Also, Kenneth says this. Rivers didn't do too bad considering the time off. I agree. I mean, he looked, he looked like Rivers out there. I agree. I agree with that, Kenneth. Max says this. Rivers' command at the line is you're right. It's those kind of things. I agree. Dallas's ass. I couldn't agree more, Cody. Again, they still can't get better than our record. Now, remember, the GP trade was the worst trade in the history of the world, apparently. Yet they're still sitting at 6-7-1 as, again, we're sitting at 7-6. So do what you want with that. Vegas, I'm glad to see Macaulay not looking like a dopehead these days. Also, Vegas, I'm sorry, Yinzer Joe. Yeah, he's just a depressed crybaby now. Vegas says this, a satanic country singer. What the fuck? The devil went down to Georgia and stayed there. Yeah, I don't know what this. I keep re-knowing and forgetting his name. Brown? I don't know. Ormax says, could you imagine taking the Gateway Clipper? Oh, yeah. I couldn't imagine. I can't imagine doing anything in this weather. I really can't. It hurts. This weather hurts. And again, this is what I like about the game tonight. This weather hurts. I hate going outside when it hurts, but you know what? I sure love watching football when it hurts outside. Jen says 4 degrees is a heat wave. 32 below here. Yes, we didn't get into our below yet, or our minus zeros yet. We will get into that shortly. It sometimes gets right around -15, and that's usually the extent of what the cold gets here in Pittsburgh. But Jen, don't envy you out in Wisconsin. Certainly, that is very cold up there. Cody says our players are getting injured without play. I know. It's like getting fired on your day off. You know what I'm saying? Tyrone, I'm glad it's cold. Sorry, Lindsay. She's taking one for the team. Cody says, and our pets' heads are falling off. Armac, Tyrone rocked the TJ Watt and the JPJ both. There you go, man. Any news on the Miami injury report? The news that I did get is that their running back is playing. It's more than likely. Let me see if I can find the note that I have here. I don't see it right off the top, but I do know that I heard that he's probable the running back for the Miami Dolphins. Again, that is their big threat. They are a running team all of a sudden. Of course, not having Tyreek Hill and company running routes for them right now. Of course, with his injury, they resorted to the run, and they got pretty successful, albeit against the Saints, a couple against the Jets. They're running the ball well. They are running the ball well. Bingo. tourniquet that hammy and let's go, right? Wrap that shit up. Get back out there, man. Vegas says, give it to Patrick. He does sports. Armax says, Caleb Johnson game. Maybe. Lindsay says, Warren probably has a fever. Vegas says, why is nobody clapping? Bingo. Garth Brooks is a serial killer. I don't know. Just what I heard. Mark Malone, why can't those temps not make the mosquitoes go extinct? Jen. And then Vegas says, I just read the Zach Brown. There it is. That's what I'm Zach Brown. That's who it is. Vegas says, I just read the Zach Brown band faced accusations of performing a satanic ritual in the Spear in Vegas. That's what it was. What the fuck? Why come here and start that BS? Check that out if you haven't had a chance. It's the Zach Brown band. And it's this whole satanic scene. I mean, there's this big it's all red. The ceiling is all red. And then this big skeleton, it's probably about 40 feet tall, comes out of nowhere with like, just a holographic shit. And it comes and it puts its head down and then there's all this fire and shit. It's interesting. But again, it seems a little bit off. But that is who it is, the Zach Brown band. A lot of people have been talking about that game or that video, that concert, certainly as of late. Tyrone says, I think Warren plays, Harmon as well. I think so too. I'll get into those injuries in just 1 second. And Tafster 728. I do want to say welcome to the terrible board. He says, go Browns. And Yinzer Joe got a kick out of that. Cody says, bingo. I watched that same documentary on Garth Brooks. Everywhere he goes, someone dies. Interesting. Dude, let me pull up the injury report, guys. This is what it looks like for tonight's game. All right, guys, for the Pittsburgh Steelers, the people that did not practice and are out this week, of course, are Andrews Pete with his concussion, TJ Watt with his lung, and that's right, James Pierre, guys. I don't know if you caught this, but kind of a big loss. He is out with a calf injury. James Pierre will not be playing tonight. Ben Skoranek, these guys were limited at practice this week. Ben Skoranek with his hand, he has no game status at the moment. Darnell Washington with his concussion, he did clear the protocol and he is questionable, which means we'll more than likely see Mr. Washington. Keanu Benton, again, limited at practice with his ankle, no game status available. Derek Harmon with his knee, he was limited at practice, questionable, which more than likely means that we will be seeing him tonight. And then again, DK Metcalf, he was limited with his abdomen. And the rest day, remember, he had a little bit of an issue last week in Baltimore as he was getting ready to leave town. No game status available, but he is expected to play as well. These people practiced full as of yesterday, their last practice. Aaron Rodgers with his wrist, Patrick Queen with his hip, Kyle Duggar with his hand, Malik Harrison with his concussion, Y.A. Black with his shoulder, Cam Hayward with his knee, Calvin Austin III with his calf. But you know what, guys? Here we are. It's week 15. Who don't have a gang of injured players on their team? It is what it is. This is what football season is. And you know what? You still have to find a way to play your best football in January if you want to do anything. So again, guys, this is we're no strangers to this. This is football. It's our Steelers, baby. It is what it is. We got guys hurt. We have guys that are hurt that are going to play. It's just what it is in December. And you know what? Hopefully we can come out on top of this one, guys. Again, the Pittsburgh Steelers are hosting Miami tonight. 4 degrees is what it's going to feel like down on the North Shore as the winds are blowing off the river tonight. Roughly 10 degrees. Feels like 3 to 4 degrees with wind chill. Again, plays to our advantage. The Steelers 3.5-point favorites at home tonight on Monday Night Football against the Miami Dolphins. Let's talk about this. The division, guys. The Steelers, they get no help really yesterday from the division foes. Baltimore goes on to beat Cincinnati 24-0 in Cincinnati, which again I still don't think that Baltimore is going to do that great the rest of the way. New England, Green Bay, and Pittsburgh to finish it out. And again, we have a half game right now and 2 first tiebreakers. The 2 first tiebreakers, we are out. So again, we're going to be in first place by the end of the day, no matter what. But just to what capacity will we be in first place? We will figure that out tonight around 11, 12 o'clock, midnight Eastern Standard Time. And then also in the division, the Cleveland Browns, they take a loss to the Chicago Bears and lose 31-3. I thought the Browns was going to be able to put up a little bit more of a fight than that with that defense, but the Bears win that game 31-3, and it makes our division look a little bit like this, everybody. The Pittsburgh Steelers sitting atop the division 7-6. The Baltimore Ravens 7-7, half game out, plus the tiebreaker. Cincinnati sitting at 4-10. Their playoff hopes are done. They are eliminated from the playoffs, and the Cleveland Browns obviously eliminated from the playoffs in the basement, as always. 3-11. The Cleveland Browns, guys. There you have it. I'm sorry, not Malik, but Smiles Carrot. He's still killing with these sacks, but the Browns, that team themselves, they suck. Basement dwellers once again. Surprise. And also, Steelers up top, the Ravens in second, Cincy in third, and the Cleveland Browns at the bottom. Isn't that the way that the experts picked it at the beginning of the year? Oh, shit, that's right. They picked Cincinnati to win the division, either them or Baltimore, then Cleveland, and then the Steelers in last. Who's been in first place all year? That's right, baby. The Pittsburgh Steelers have been in first place all year. A few notable things from other games yesterday. Kenny Pickett gets slaughtered in that game against the Raiders, against his old team, the Eagles. Kenny Pickett gets his first start. Not good for him. George Pickens they're still losing in Dallas. Worst trade ever, I guess. Meanwhile, here we are still in first place with a better record. And also a few people that we talked about. Patrick Mahomes again blew out his knee. He's done for the season. Micah Parsons blew out his knee. He's done for the season. And Phillip Rivers makes his return with the shot put pass, throwing a touchdown pass in the game yesterday, guys. So a lot of things going on in this league. The AFC playoffs look like this. Number 1 seed right now at 12-2 is the Denver Broncos. If the playoffs started today and they don't, the Denver Broncos would be off this week. Number 2, the New England Patriots, after they lost to Buffalo in a game that they should have probably won. They are the number 2 seed. Number 3 is Jacksonville. Of course, they also win yesterday. Your Pittsburgh Steelers, we sit at number 4. We will be hosting a playoff game if we, in fact, keep this pole position going. After us, the Chargers, who we would be hosting if the playoffs started today, are the 5th seed. Buffalo is the 6th seed. They would be traveling to Jacksonville. And the Houston Texans are the 7th seed. They would be traveling to New England if the playoffs started today. On top of that, the teams that are left on the bubble, there's 3 of them. There's only 3 other teams in the AFC right now that are still eligible to make the playoffs. Everybody else eliminated. Raiders eliminated. Jets eliminated. The whole way down the list. The Browns eliminated. Bengals eliminated. KC eliminated. Only 3 other teams that have a possibility, the chance of making the playoffs in the AFC are the Colts with an 8-6 record right now, or the Ravens with a 7-7 record. The only way they're getting in is through a division win. So they're not going to get a wild card. Just by the way the wild card teams' records are. And then also the Miami Dolphins. The guys, that's the one thing that scares me about the Dolphins. This is their last thread. If they lose tonight, they will be eliminated, and they'll drop to 6-8 on the season. So again, you just hope they don't get that spurt to come out and get a win. But you know what, guys? This is going to be a big game in Pittsburgh for the Steelers, for the fans. It's Monday night. It's 4 degrees. It's Hall of Honor night. Big Ben Roethlisberger, Marquise Pouncey, Jay Peasy, of course, Joey Porter are getting inducted into the Pittsburgh Hall of Honor tonight. So that's going on. Also, Color Rush tonight. It's all black helmets, black shirts, black pants. They look sharp. That's tonight. Golden end zones. They have the end zones painted. I seen the pictures and everything. And they are ready. The end zones are gold. So again, guys, if the Steelers can win this game, it looks like one of those kind of games where everything goes your way. But again, we know how the Steelers and the NFL plays out, and it's never that easy. So again, we will be tuning in with our terrible towels and jerseys on tonight at 8:15 for this Week 15 matchup on Monday Night Football. Let me get back on the board. I don't want to miss out on anybody today because this is game day. And I got to be honest with you. It's a big game day. I'm feeling it, guys, because after this, there's only 3 left. 3 regular season games left. Unbelievable. If you think about, let's go right here. Jen says, right, Mark, them fuckers won't die. Talking about the mosquitoes. Bingo says, yeah, I haven't gone brown yet today. Maybe another cup of coffee. Cody says, game. Yes, Samuel time, Steeler, Tyrone, because James Pierre will not be playing due to his calf. It's likely that Asante Samuel Jr. will be getting the nod. As we, I mean, it's still up in the air. It hasn't been announced officially, but some are saying that it would make sense that he is going to be the one to get the nod. However, there's a bit of a crease on this. Asante Samuel, guys, he's in his time played. Of course, he had a lot of injured time. He had the spinal infusion, but in his time played, he was a 13.1 missed tackle rate. He's literally third in missed tackles as far as his rate goes. So again, if he can cover and do the things that he needs to do where he doesn't have to tackle somebody, that might be best case scenario. But again, Asante Samuel, guys, not a great tackler. Kind of goes into some of the issues we've had in the past. So I just want to throw that out there. People are getting excited because it's possible you could see Asante Samuel tonight starting at corner. But again, his tackling is subpar. So let's just hope he can cover and play good defense in that sense, guys. But that is also what's going on. They are saying it's a very good possibility he will be starting in Pierre's spot. Mark Malone, hopefully Samuel could strap on a pair. Armax says, boo. Tortilla says, you guys remember when Lamar Jackson had to drop a Cleveland Brown mid-game? Lindsay said, that's the ugliest thing I've ever seen. Oh, I didn't even know what that was. Old Tater is putting Cleveland Brown colors up. Let's see. What about Miami, Tyrone? You know what? I'll pull up their whole list in one moment. I do know that their running back is likely going to play. They're saying that he looks like he's getting the nod. But beyond that, I'm not real sure. We'll pull that up in just a moment. Tortilla says, imagine rooting for a team that's colors are the Thanksgiving themes. Tater is he's on a troll. Look at him. He's on the troll move today, man. Let's see. Tyrone says must win game. Yinzer Joe says who's playing in PR spot. Now, yeah, it's in theory, Yinzer Joe, it's probably going to be Samuel. We will see. Bingo says and named after fairies too. Yeah, what is that little fairy they have up there? Cody says it in the porta potty taking the Browns to the Super Bowl. Tyrone says, yeah, Yinzer Joe. Says Browns have a lot of injuries. Tater taught, listen, the Browns haven't been good since the 80s. How you going to blame it on injuries, man? I'm just saying. Let me move on. It's actually silly to even have that argument. Let's see. Tortilla, Samuel outside, echoes slot. Yinzer Joe says, I'd like to know how a Saudi Browns fan is a year after Browns moved to Baltimore and won a Super Bowl. Yeah, how does that feel? Tater Tot says the Steelers lose and the wild card take it to the bank. Come on, getting picked on by a Browns fan is one of the most comical things I've ever heard. That team literally has never done anything, Tater Tot. Nothing. And then they stand up against teams that have, it's just been the one of the most dominant franchises in league history. It's truly fascinating. Let's go to Lindsay. Lindsay says, well, Browns will be on the coach. So Tortilla says the best thing that ever happened to the Browns was a wild. You know what I mean? Remember when they went 0-16, Tater Tot? Remember when Yins had a parade for 0-16? That was cool. Mark Malone, hope we get San Diego. Cody says rather lose in the wild card than be at home sucking. Herbert shreds the Steelers. You know what? Literally one time we've beat them last year and the year before. Tater Tot, just relax, brother. It's going to be all right. I promise. Lindsay says we do not care. Tortilla, literally everyone shreds the Browns. Let's see. Miss Pittsburgh says, let's go Steelers. That's right. Tortilla, you have to root for other teams to beat us. Miss Pittsburgh says this is going to be a good game. Let's go Steeler Nation. That's right. You know what? I'm feeling that, Miss Pittsburgh. Miss Pittsburgh says, yes, I cannot wait. Let's go. Cody says this. Remember to wear your brown paper bag on your head. That's what y'all are famous for. That's sucking. I don't think there's literally any team that's worse than the Browns. That's what the funniest part about Browns fans are. The thing about Browns fans, they really feel that they're staying relevant by pretending to have this rivalry with the Steelers. Once the Browns left Cleveland, that rivalry is in Baltimore now. Nobody cares about the expansion Browns. Nobody. Certainly not us. That's why when they keep talking about this rivalry between the Steelers and the Browns, I don't see it. Didn't our quarterback have more wins at your stadium than any other quarterback, any of your quarterbacks? And didn't we beat you in like 20? You haven't beat us in Pittsburgh in almost a quarter century. So that's what I'm saying. How stupid. That's all. Let's see. Also, we're going to go right here. And where Tater Tot goes? He's still around? Miss Pittsburgh says this. We have never put bags over my head. Come on, man. Well, at least you good-looking ones didn't. Let's see. Bingo says his mom too, Cody. Yinzer Joe says Browns can't even be mediocre. Tallman and the Steelers got that down. Steeler Freak says when it won't matter what team the Steelers play when they are Super Bowl contenders looking for the weakest team for a meaningless playoff win for the win. Bragging rights doesn't fit for me. No trophies. but again, my thought was this the other day, and I agree, John, and I really do. I mean, when you look at the big picture and you look at the writing on the wall. But don't we still watch our team, even though, you know what I mean? Because I just seen a post yesterday where this guy was just doing nothing but talking about these fans that are still rooting for the Steelers. What the fuck do you want people to do? For one, it has no effect on anything. If I root for this team or if I root for the Steelers the whole way through, it doesn't have any. People are getting on each other and they're calling each other stupid because they want to continue to see their team win football games. So again, I agree with you, but what can we do? It's our team. We're going to watch. We're going to hope for the best and cheer them along. There's not much we can do beyond that, really. Vegas says, is Massage Watson going to start for the Browns? Who knows what the freak they got going on up there? Now you got him back. What a disaster Cleveland is and always has been, for that matter. Yinzer Joe, is the Browns' daddy still Ben Roethlisberger, or is everyone their daddy now? Tortilla Browns will draft Drew a lot. You know what? They probably will. They need more quarterbacks. It's like the more cowbell with Saturday Night Live with the Browns with these quarterbacks. I've never seen anything like it. Vegas says they took Winslow Jr. instead of Ben. Tortilla said who? Kellen Winslow Jr. Vegas said the Browns. Okay, we got that. Bingo, wild card back with Ben and Hines. I told a couple of Brown fans to be careful and hold hands coming up the icy stairs. They cussed me up and down and got kicked out before kickoff. They're the worst. Vegas says Art Rooney was the only owner to vote against the Cleveland moving to Baltimore. Tyrone, A-Rod, 300 yards, 3 touchdowns tonight. I got to feel. You know what? I hope you're right. I hope you're right. Joe Browns had Jeff Garcia and Kelly Holcomb. Why would they want Ben Roethlisberger? Come on. Bingo says $700 a seat too. Steeler Freak says, for you, playoffs are good enough, folks. The Browns have won a playoff game in the past 4 years, 48-37 against the Steelers. Cody says Winslow Jr. Tortilla from the Family Matters. Right? That's right. They were Winslows, weren't they? Carl Winslow and Eddie Winslow. Laura. Tater Tot says, dog pound. Boo. Tyrone says, I'm going to the Steelers and Browns with my girl. Oh, that's all. Oh, she's a Browns fan? Oh, you're in Ohio. That makes sense. All right. Hey, you know what? That's cool, man. I hope you have a great time. I hope it's tolerable, because it certainly gets colder up there than it does even here, and I'm sure where you're at as well. More like the pound dogs. That's what Cody says. So, guys, that's right. Tonight we'll be back at it against the Miami Dolphins, trying to keep the ball in our court. That's all I can say. If we win, the ball stays in our court. If not, you got to kind of hope things still continue to play your way. We still do have the tiebreaker. If we win out, things would be good. But again, Detroit is a huge test next week. I say if we beat Miami, you go out and play Detroit. It's a litmus test. See how you stand against a team of that caliber. Are these teams that were highest calibers this year, highest calibers, the high caliber teams last year? They are, but they're not. They're not having the same success, but they're still the tougher teams to beat, as Buffalo was, as Philadelphia even. These teams are still, the talent-wise, they're still very difficult teams to play and to beat. So, again, Detroit's not going to be easy next week. Then we go to Cleveland after that and come home and wrap it up against the Ravens, where, again, the Ravens, they have the Patriots first place, the Packers first place, and the Steelers first place. The Ravens got to beat 3 first-place teams in order to even still be in it, providing we can do what it is that we do. So, again, that's a tough feat. We got the Dolphins, the Browns, the Ravens, of course, not in that order, and the Lions. They have 3 first-place teams left. And, again, this time of year, how many times you see first-place teams dropping? You know what I'm saying? You're trying to spot. You're trying to get yourself in position for the playoffs. So, should be very tough for Baltimore. But, again, I do agree with you, John. In the big picture, I do. When you look at the writing on the wall, you're right. You're not wrong. But again, at the end of the day, what am I going to do? Throw a whole year away? Of course, I'm going to watch them. Of course, I'm going to get excited. And of course, I'm going to root for them and hope for the best. But it's all we can do. It's all we can do. Some big news also, guys, from this weekend. A couple quarterbacks, of course. We're only about 131 maybe days away from the draft here in Pittsburgh, guys. Some quarterback information. Of course, the Steelers are thought to be going to look after their franchise quarterback of the future this weekend, or this draft. Fernando Mendoza, of course, the Indiana quarterback. He wins the Heisman Trophy over the weekend. Fernando Mendoza, the first player from Indiana to win the Heisman. Of course, he is highly touted going into the draft. There are about 3 or 4 teams that really, really, really need quarterbacks. So, again, Mendoza, a Heisman Trophy winner. This one, guys, a little bit of a shock. A little bit of a shock. Somebody that certainly us here on the show I've been high on was a quarterback out of South Carolina named LaNorris Sellers. LaNorris Sellers had made his announcement saying that he is going to return to his red shirt freshman junior year at South Carolina. So there's a guy that a lot of Pittsburgh fans had their eye on. Again, going and looking for our franchise quarterback moving forward. LaNorris Sellers announced that he is going back to South Carolina for his junior year. So just some scoop. Heisman Trophy winner, guy going back to college. I do want to make one other quick note while I'm just mentioning college football. The Army-Navy game, they call it the biggest game in America. Army-Navy. Navy wins that game 17-16 over Army. But the important thing to this, guys, the guy that caught the game-winning touchdown, he's from Mount Lebanon, right here in Pittsburgh. Eli Hendenreich. He caught the game-winning touchdown for Navy right here from Mount Lebanon in Pittsburgh, guys. Navy does win that game. Army-Navy game, 17-16. We jump back on the board. And we're going to get into some let me give you some stats. Let me drop some knowledge for you guys. Tua, in games played below 40, mind you, it's going to be 3. In games below 40, Tua is 0-6 and has 1 touchdown and 12 interceptions. The quarterback that we're facing tonight in games below 40, 0-6, 1 touchdown, 12 interceptions, and it's going to be 4 tonight here in the Berg. It is a 61% chance of making the playoffs for the Steelers if they win. If they lose, they say that there's 47% chance of the Steelers making the postseason. Of course, the Ravens being right behind us, and their numbers are just opposite of ours. So they are certainly, of course, looking at that. The Steelers-Ravens, 61% if we make the playoffs, or our odds to make, or if we win tonight to make the playoffs, and 47% it drops to if we lose. TJ Watt, of course, we do know that he is not going to be playing tonight. He is injured with his collapsed lung. He got last Thursday. We got news of this. And or Friday, whatever day it was. But the one thing that they didn't skip, guys, they continued to make sure they fined TJ for the play a couple weeks ago. Last week, as a matter of fact, it was that unnecessary roughness where he tackled Derrick Henry with about 2 minutes and 12 seconds left in the game, and they called it. They said it was an unnecessary roughness. It was a little too much. Well, they did fine TJ Watt. TJ Watt did receive an $11,593 fine by the NFL for his late hit unnecessary roughness. I guess they called it against Derrick Henry last week in that particular game, guys. So Watt had a rough week taking the fine and also with the lung. Hopefully he's better soon and gets back to us, back to the team next week. And that's what he's hoping on. So there's no long term right now. They're not saying he's going to be out forever. They're saying hopefully he could be back in next week. And again, that goes a long way, especially playing against the Detroit Lions with a lot of talent that they do have. Let me take a look, see here. Right, let me get back up on the board. We'll go over some scores here for the week lately. A lot of, again, interesting games, guys. A lot of interesting games over the weekend. Some that's going to affect us, some that's not, and some that's just, again, downright interesting from over this weekend. If I can find where we're at here, we're going to go right here. Armax says, I know why Tyrone wearing JPJ jersey now. Tater says, go Fins. Look at Tater. He's still, you know what? I got to give it to Tater. He's still hanging out. He's still in here. And, Cody says, easy win. Tyrone says, why? Tyrone says, the Fins suck. John says, Lions are weak. They are. But again, you watch them play. They're still a better caliber than we are. Gibbs is still running very hard. St. Brown is still a playmaker. Aiden Hutchinson is still making plays on the defense. And the quarterback, I'm not a big fan of Goff, but he threw over 300 yards yesterday in the loss. So again, they're calling them weak is one thing. They're not as good as they were, but they still have mad talent on that squad. That again, it's probably going to be a pretty rough day for us next week. If we could win, more power to us. Hopefully that's the case. But again, that's going to be a tough game. No two ways about it. 12 gonna shred use. Tater says 12 gonna shred use. Bingo, shred what? Old fine. I know his dude's retarded. But you know what? Entertain him though. He's harmless so far. Bengals, sorry. Tater said Roger greater than static grandfather clock. You know what, Tater? Aaron Rodgers in first place. You know where Mahomes is at? You know where Joe Burrow is? Lamar, where he's heading? Steeler Freak says stop. You know what? He's harmless. Bingo says Heisman winners tend not to have a success in the NFL. I know it's interesting, guys. We have to make a big call here in a few months. What are we gonna do? Joe Burrow's on the move. A lot of teams talking about not a lot of teams, but a lot of social media rumors have been linking Joe Burrow up with the Jets, the Raiders, and the Steelers. Of course, the three teams that desperately need quarterbacks moving forward. Tortilla, that's a good decision. Tyrone says A-Rod finna cook him. Tortilla says for Sellers. You know what? I agree. I agree. Because I didn't think he played that great this year, to be honest. Every time I watched Lenore Sellers, there was kind of a lot of mistakes, and I thought, ay. So maybe this was the best move for everybody. Cody says, just like Tomlin's never had a losing season, the Browns never had a winning season. And that's what I'm saying. They're not a rivalry. They're funny. They're just funny to me. The Browns are funny. The whole thing is funny. They literally have finished ahead of the Steelers one time since 1989 in the division. One time. Take a minute to think about that. Just take a minute to let that sink in. 1989. Since then, they've had one season where they finished higher than the Steelers in the division. That's what I'm saying. They're funny. It's funny. Let's see. Jen says, I hope Minka doesn't ball out. I know. If it goes either way, it's got to be one of our guys. Like I said, I want to see Jonnu. If Jonnu has a breakout game against Miami and doesn't do anything the rest of the year, I think I'd be okay with that. Because he hasn't done anything yet. So, I mean, I won't be missing much. But again, if he's going to have the breakout game, it would be nice against his former team. Hawk Tua. Mark Malone says he likes it warm and wet in Miami. Costa Nostra 72. He says, howdy, Steeler fans. Fins up. Welcome to the terrible board, Cosa. Tater Tot says, what is a poor man's miles? Mark Malone, friggin' acupuncturist trying to keep the Watt man down. Cody says, welcome to the Steel City where real men work. Tyrone 28-20 Steelers. You know what? I'll give my prediction here in a little bit. Kenny says this offense is the key tonight to a win. We need points. You're damn right, man. You're damn right. And again, this should be the defense has been playing good. That's one thing about the Dolphins, though. Their defense has been playing good. But again, the competition, who it has been that they've been playing the Saints, the Jets twice. Again, that whole group that we've been talking about, that speaks volumes. So again, you know, end of day 75-68. He says what will be missed, but my prediction is Steelers 27-10. I like that prediction. Bingo says this. Sawyer better step the fuck up and get after it. Somber says, I do want to say what's up to Somber. Somber says, took Miles 9 years to sniff TJ's. And you know what? if you wanted me to, I could pull out the numbers that literally have Watt better than Myles Garrett at everything. At everything. And that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he's having a good season with his sacks, but come on, from the time they were both in the league, Watt he leads everything between those two. So I don't know what the argument is. Drafted the same year. Tater Tot sounds like an idiot. That's what Somber says. Cody says, take it easy, Sammy Bull. Take it easy. Kenneth says Miles will break the record for. That's what I'm saying. You know what? And I don't hate that, because here's the thing: Myles Garrett's not going to be in Cleveland for long, and I'm a Myles Garrett fan. And once he leaves Cleveland, I'm going to be able to enjoy him a lot more. So, believe me, he wants the hell out of your team. So the more you're sitting there using that guy as leverage to talk shit on Steeler fans, this guy doesn't even. He's made it known he doesn't even want to be on your team. So, again, just funny Cleveland Brown BS, man. And the day says I would take Joe Burrow. He's a good quarterback, just on a bad team. You know what? Most people would. Most people would. I thought at the beginning when I first heard the rumor, I thought, oh, that might be a good idea. But again, guys, that's a lot of money for a guy that's having a hard time staying on the field basically through his whole career so far in the NFL. Do we want to get in that conundrum? Do we want to have that problem? We're paying a guy TJ Watt money, because that's what it would be, mad money, and he wouldn't be available a lot of the time. So that's what I'm saying. It sounded good on the surface at the beginning, but then you start to peel back the layers like an onion, and it starts to stink more. And I just thought to myself, I just don't know if that's a risk you take. That seems like a Raiders or a Jets risk. It just does. Again, maybe you look younger, and it's tricky. We'll have to keep an eye on it. Steeler Freak says Burrow isn't going to another fucked up management team. Maybe backfilling Stafford and playing for McVay. Tyrone says TJ Watt for life. Cosa Nostra says John. We're asking the same thing. And believe me, you ain't insulting anybody by saying John who. Somber says Burrow's about to be 30. No thanks. Yinzer Joe says Minka doesn't ball out anymore. He's just a solid player, nothing spectacular. Tyrone says took him 9 years, and everyone knows Watt should have got 23 defensive player of the year. Cody, people love to hate. Absolutely. And you know what? We love it. We thrive on it, and we accept it because it's nothing that we're not used to. If you're a Steeler fan, bro, that's all people do is talk shit. But you know what? That's good, because how many people talking shit on them Cardinals? Nobody, because nobody cares about the Cardinals. You know what I'm saying? So again, we recognize it, we accept it, and it is what it is. Guys, let's blow through these scores of what it looked like yesterday. Again, a rare day when the league plays out, and then we have a whole day to talk about it, and then we got to get ready for our game, guys. Let's get into what the scores looked like for the day yesterday, and then we're going to get, guys, we have overs and unders for today. We have keys to winning the game, my prediction. So much still to talk about on today's show, so do stick around, guys. I do want to say to everybody, thank you. Thank you for stopping by today for the Monday night football edition of the show as we're getting ready for the Miami Dolphins tonight. Some calling it a must-win. I'm not calling it a must-win, but it's getting pretty close to must-win time week after week after week. We'll be in first place if we lose. We'll be with the tiebreaker ahead of Baltimore. But again, Now you're gonna have to hope that you want to win this football game, especially again if you want to prove to anybody that you are going to deserve to be in January. You know, being inconsistent, losing to the Dolphins, things like this late in the year usually aren't good signs, precursors to what goes on in January. So again, um, let's check out the scores for the week. You could take Tater Tot. You could stick around. Your team lost. I'd like for you to hear this. And that other weirdo too, whatever his name is, you could stick around too. All right, guys, here we go. It all started back on Thursday when the Falcons effed me one last time. One last time. You know what? I'm not even going to pick a Falcon score anymore. I'm done. I'm done with them. I'm just going to take that loss every week because no matter who I pick, if it's them or against them, I lose every time. What they did, they lost. No, they managed to beat the Buccaneers is what it was. This past week, they won 29-28. That was on Thursday night. On Sunday, the Baltimore Ravens traveled to Cincinnati and got their revenge on the Bengals as they win 24-0 in a shutout. Another shutout. The Philadelphia Eagles, they host the Kenny Pickett-led Las Vegas Raiders, and the Eagles shut them out 31-0. The Houston Texans continuing on their strong path to the playoffs as they beat the Cardinals 40-20. The Chiefs eliminated from the playoffs after the Chargers beat them late 16-13 in that AFC West game. Again, Patrick Mahomes done for the season with the knee. Patriots looked like they had this game in a bag. Jamal, what's up, brother? Ain't no problem, man. The Patriots had this game in a bag. They were up big. They managed to drop the game to the Buffalo Bills. The Buffalo Bills still have a chance to win the division as Josh Allen and the Bills beat New England 35-31. Jacksonville Jaguars still staying hot as well. They beat the Jets 48-20. The Commanders, they beat the Giants 29-21. Now where's Tater Tot? Is he still here? Tater Tot, the Browns, they lost 31-3. 31-3. If that's not a Cleveland Browns score, I don't know. There it is. Tater Tot, listen, Tater Tot says, I've subscribed. I want to be here when it all falls apart. And you know what, Tater Tot? Thank you for your subscription. Your team lost 31-3 yesterday. The Saints, 2 in a row, beating the Carolina Panthers in that division. Guys, 20-17. What is going on in the NFL? The Rams 41, the Lions 34. And again, they didn't look good, but you know what? The Rams are a pretty good team. Lions, our next opponent, they just took the loss. The Seahawks in a seesaw game, a low-scoring seesaw game with the Colts, and we've seen a return of Phillip Rivers, guys. The Seahawks win that game 18-16 to stay tied in first in their division. The Broncos with that defense in the best record in the NFL. That's right, the best record in the NFL, 12-2. The Denver Broncos, led by Jay Payton, Bo Nix, and Patrick Surtain, lead the league with a 12-2 record. The Broncos 34. The Packers not only lose, they also lose Micah Parsons with also blowing out his knee. He's done for the season. San Francisco beats the Titans 37-24. In that game last night on Sunday Night Football, George Pickens, the worst trade ever in Pittsburgh history, didn't seem to help once again as the Cowboys lose to the Vikings and they fall to, 6-7-1. 6-7-1. So again, there you go. The team that gave away the worst trade ever, 6-7-1, in danger of missing the playoffs, and the team that gave away the best trade ever, still in first place. So again, do what you want with that. The whole George Pickens narrative, that's what it's playing out like. And of course, guys, the 8:15 game tonight, Monday Night Football, the Pittsburgh Steelers will be hosting the Miami Dolphins on the North Shore to wrap up Week 15 tonight. Let me jump back on the board here. I'm seeing some motion on the board. I don't want to miss out on anybody on this game day, guys. It's a game day. I'm glad to see everybody. I'm glad everybody's here and excited. I know I sure am. I'm going to go right here. Yeah, right there. People. Okay, Cody says this. I'd be mad if my team never made the playoffs. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They're just funny, dude. Nobody takes Browns fans seriously. That's the fun of them. Like I said, once they moved to Baltimore, that was the rivalry. That's the team that we're a rival with, and they still are because they beat us sometime, we beat them sometime. They win a division, we win the division. The Browns aren't none of that. They're just funny. They're an expansion team. Tyrone says definitely must win. 8-6 better than 7-7 for sure. But just the using of the term must win, it's not a must win. We can win, we could lose and still be fine. Again, y'all be a little tighter, of course, but you want this win bad. You want, especially being the Dolphins, you don't want to have to worry about trying to beat the Lions to keep up with the race when you could beat the Dolphins this week and then worry about the Lions later. Cody says you guys should both stick around, like, and subscribe. Yeah, for sure. Like, subscribe, stick around, do what you want, man. Jamal says, gang, my man. How you doing, Jamal? Hope you're doing well, sir. Lindsay says, we don't want to lose like the Browns. No, you're good, dude. Not late. Somber says 3 points. That's it. Just 3. I think 3.5. It was 3.5. Maybe if you're seeing 3, might have got moved. Cody, gang, tortilla. Jamal, what up, boy? Tater Tot says, I've just subscribed. I want to be here. You know what? We want you here too. Believe me, we want you here too. Tater Tot. Jamal says, my dogs. What it do, brothers and sister Lindsay? Lindsay says, hey, Jamal, gang, 3 points. Tortilla, you missed everything falling apart by about a year. Jamal, who in the hell is Tater Tot? You know what? We don't know. He's a Brown fan, and again, it's almost like when you get that really ugly dog, but you accept it anyway, you know, because it doesn't know any better, and it's a dog, and you love it, and you keep it, and you know, that's just kind of how I feel about Tater right now. He's just like the ugly little dog. We're keeping him around because of we feel bad. He's mad. Tyrone says Tater says we're in transition from what, the 1950s. Ians have been transitioning since Jim Brown left. My God. Tyrone, pull up. Jamal says a Browns fan. LOL. Tortilla. Browns so bad they gotta watch us. I love it. For 20 years. Dude, 20 years. Lindsay, 1989 was the last time this team had finished ahead of us. The Browns, whether it be the old Browns, the new Browns, the future Browns, it doesn't matter. Jamal says, LOL, yeah, from men to women, transition, him and Somber. Tyrone. Tyrone says, to the game in 2 weeks. I'm there. You know what? That's awesome, dude. I'm excited you're going up to Cleveland. I've been up to Cleveland for Cavaliers games. I've never went up for a Browns game, believe it or not. Cody says, thanks, Tater Tot, for a glimpse of what it feels like to win. You need it. Jamal says, heard Baltimore was interested. I heard this too. Again, these rumors are swirling. George Pickens, possibly in interest of the Baltimore Ravens, as Jamal is saying on the board, guys. I've seen this as well. Nothing official, but again, the rumor mill is swirling. Cody says transition being keyword being trans. Somber says 3 points is a wild word. Wild work. There it is. Kenneth says other quarterbacks should be ashamed that Rivers look bad. I agree. Especially because this day and age, it's so much checkdowns. And it's professional quarterbacks that don't throw the ball more than 7-8 yards. The way that Phillip Rivers came back with his 45-year-old ass after not playing for 5 years and was still able to throw touchdowns, some of these other teams, Pittsburgh Steelers, should be ashamed of themselves. I'm just saying, if Phillip Rivers came back after 5 years, pushing 50, and still managed to do what he does, I think we could play a little bit better than the 3-yard check down and 5-yard long passes. That should be behind us. If anything should tell us how effed up that is, it could be this. It's Phillip Rivers situation. I mean, come on. Tortilla says no one likes the Browns, not even Browns fans. Tater says, wrong. The Ratbirds are bastard child. Cody says, Jamal, we going to see you tonight. Jamal's not sure. Tortilla says, the Ravens at least a super. Yeah, right. That's the thing. They left to Cleveland and they got a Super Bowl almost immediately. What's that tell you? Lindsay says, you can't beat Pittsburgh or Baltimore. Laugh my ass off. Browns are the bottom of the barrel. And that's the thing. They know they are. They get feisty because, again, what are they going to talk shit? They think we're their rivalry. And that's even funnier than the whole thing because we don't care about them at all. They are the basement dweller, and we just continue to not worry about them. Let's see. Jamal says, been trying to kick it with the Mrs. Moore. She already been getting on my ass, spending for too much time with my friends. Plus, it's Christmas time, and she probably needs, like, it's like I mentioned earlier, I hate this time of year. You have to do so many unnecessary things that you normally don't have to do, and yeah. Somber, what the fuck is a brown anyway? I don't know. I think it's a midget. They have a midget in the middle of their field. But then they turn around and say it's a dog. Again, nobody knows. What a weird franchise. What a weird, poorly ran franchise. I've never seen. Come on, there's nothing like it in the NFL. No other team like them. You got to say that. Tortilla says the Cleveland Mud. The Cleveland Mud Butts. Tortilla says the grass is always greener when you're leaving Cleveland. And that's what they say. Myles Garrett wants the hell out of there. Wouldn't you? Jamal, a turd at Somber. Costa Nostra says, how's the weather looking like for the game at Three Rivers tonight? You know what? It is going to be about 3 degrees. Costa, we like our chances against the Dolphins playing up here in December. Of course, it's been average 75 degrees in Miami as of the past 2 weeks. They showed up on Friday night to practice at Robert Morris. The Dolphins did to get used to the weather. They were out a little bit yesterday as well. But again, 10 degrees with a 4-degree wind chill is what's going down tonight as far as the weather on the Three Rivers. Steeler Freak says this, thinking the Steelers can play a balanced game on both sides of the ball for 4 posts. And again, before even finishing this comment, I know and I agree with what you're saying. You know what I mean? Again, what are we going to do? Thinking the Steelers can play a balanced game on both sides of the ball for 4 post season games straight against other teams and their coaching when it hasn't happened in a decade is not realistic. And we haven't even been able to do it through the regular season. It's hard to even stack wins, it seems, now in the regular season as well. And you have to find the 4 best teams, 4 of the better teams in that journey as you're trying to get the Lombardi Trophy. I understand and I agree. But at the end of the day, I still will tune in. I still will be cheering them on. And again, let's get that win tonight. It all starts tonight. Tortilla says even the artificial turf dies in Cleveland. Tyrone says Costa 10 degrees. Yinzer Joe says Cleveland is transitioning all right, all the way to Baltimore. Where's Tater Tot? I haven't heard him in a while. Will it be windy, snowy? It's been windy and snowy. What I'm seeing on the report, it's saying 0 wind as of right now, but wind could change. Tyrone asked Lindsay. She's the weather woman. Bingo says everyone's eyes are too close together in Cleveland. Something's wrong. It's almost like, right? In the lazy eye up there. I've never seen so many people with lazy eye. Go to Cleveland. Tyrone. When you go to Cleveland in 2 weeks, pay special attention to the oddities of these people that live in this city. It's truly fascinating. I've never seen anything like it. Lindsay says cold as fuck is what the temp was. What the forecast is. The redheaded stepchild, basically, what Somber saying the Browns are. Tater. Okay, here we go. Tater Tot, you cared. No, we actually didn't. We forgot about it. You know what? If we wouldn't have had this whole conversation with Tater Tot, I would have forgotten all about that. We won too many championships to worry about a loss in the playoffs one year. So, do what you want with that. Steeler Freak says T. Fister is in transition. All right. His goal is to be the first Browns cheerleader. Jen says, don't hate because you Don't hate us because you ain't. Don't hate us because you ain't us. Yeah, remember that line? James Franco, Joe Rogan, the interview, I think it was. They hate us because they ain't us. They hate us because they ain't us. Tyrone, I gotta get the girl I'm talking to, Sanders jersey. Ay ay ay. Maybe you ought to reconsider this girl. I'm just saying. Yinzer Joe, Paul Brown, couldn't thought of an original name. Also, Tortilla says, get her a Watson jersey. Maybe she'll get it the massage. Or get the message. Massage, or vice versa. Message, massage. Lindsay says, then you traded bet. That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen Cleveland doing. Believe me, the amount of dumb that goes on in that terrible mistake by the lake. You finally had a quarterback. And that's the thing, for them to talk shit on us. Well, we beat you in the playoff once. Well, the only quarterback that actually was worth two shits he's ever had, he's got rid of him. So what's it matter? My God. Ormax says, Tyrone, too soon. Don't do it. Reconsider. Read some literature on the side. That's what I'm saying, bro. If you're dating, I listen, I don't know. Maybe she's wonderful and maybe you're in love. But a Browns jersey, that's a little steep, man. Feel the Steel. What's up, big boys? Feel the Steel's ready for some Monday Night Football. I know that. He says this, terrible board. Guess what? I went back to the two Dum Yinzer podcast on 12/16 this week last season, skipped to 25-55, and guess who got the game ball? And Vanilla said why, and that Ryan said something big. Go check it out. And there you go. I have no clue what he's talking about, but there you go. Go check it out. Tyrone says, no, I knew her half my life. Oh, yeah. I said, that's unfortunate. She's going to be harder to shake then. Cleveland, I'm sorry, Yinzer Joe says, I guess Cleveland Steamers were already taken. Cleveland Steamers would be the perfect name for that football team up there. My God, if we were just a little bit better, maybe we would have been blessed with Cleveland having that name as their football team. Just saying. Cleveland Steamers. I love it. Tyrone says, okay, bet I will. Somber, I heard the Hills Have Eyes did a casting there at Cleveland. Bingo says they hate us because they're anus. Mark Malone, I bet the Browns signed Murray this offseason. Possibly. They only have 19 quarterbacks. Why not sign Murray, right? Tyrone says, I let it slide, Ryan. Not at least not. And I'm just messing with you, brother. I hope everything is well, and I hope you have the greatest time ever. And I would wish nothing ill will to either of you guys. Just be safe. That's all. That's all I have to say. Armax says, man, I quoted Andre 3000. Tater Tot says diluted. I'm not sure what that's referring to. I'm not sure what that's referring to. Lindsay says Browns are 0-0, so let that sink in. What the fuck? Bingo. Tyrone saw her in a Kozar jersey and says, I can fix her. Cleveland will never win a Super Bowl, is what Tortilla is saying. Tyrone, Phil Steel. Steelers got a playoff berth with a loss to the Eagles on 12-15 in 2024. That's right, they did. They lost and got into the playoffs. You're right. And then end of day says Brown should change their names when they move. Right. Tortilla says this, every Browns fan in the world has a combined IQ of 6, which I think is pretty generous, to be honest. Steeler Freak says, I bet Tomlin and the Steelers take Murray another year, being the fans with false hope. It will take until the end of the season for the fans to realize they were tricked again. Guys, it's time to get into, hold on, Costa Nostra says, do y'all think Kevin Stefanski, I never heard of her. Who is she? I'm just playing your coach. He should be. And whoever the hell got rid of Baker Mayfield, whoever that was, whether that's the, whoever that was needs to be fired. You're talking about George Pickens as a bad giveaway for the Steelers. Bro, you just literally gave away the only quarterback that ever did anything for you. And since Bernie Kosar in the 80s, come on. Everybody should be fired. The whole team should be fired. They should they should all be fired up there. Let's see. Bingo says the Brie Butt Bandits. Tyrone says, Ryan, their fans are so bad. LOL. I've been to two. Okay, getting an argument. Me too. I've been into fights here with Steeler fans, but again, I haven't been up to that stadium for football, just basketball, which is a lovely place to go watch the NBA. But I wish you the best, and again, stay safe, my man. And if you have to beat some ass, beat some ass. Let's get into some overs and unders, guys. I could use your help on the board today. I'm going to get you some offensive overs and unders, some defensive overs and unders, and let me know what you think. Because, again, this kind of game is hard to anticipate. The weather, for one. Let's look at these overs and unders. Again, Tater Todd, I'm not real sure what's going on. I would assume that they're going to fire him. I would fire him. I would just walk in there and fire everybody. I just would. All right, here we go, guys. Some overs and unders. Here we go. Lindsay says Stefanski for life. The Browns D coach is the keeper. I would take him. All right, guys. Overs and unders. Here we go. Offense. Jonnu Smith. Does he show out because he's playing against the Dolphins? I'm going to say Jonnu Smith, guys. Jonnu Smith, 1.5 reception. 1.5 receptions on the overs and unders. Jonnu Smith balling out, 1.5 receptions. More than that, I think, would be considered balling out for Jonnu, as he is still have yet to impress anybody, I think, here in Pittsburgh with his play. Jonnu Smith, 1.5 reception. Next on the list, guys. How about this? And Jen saying over on the Jonnu. How about this? Juan Valdez-Scantling. Juan Valdez-Scantling. Does he have a catch tonight? Wade Johnson once says in one tight end reverse. Nice. Juan Valdez-Scantling. Does Valdez-Scantling get a catch? Half a catch is the over-under. Armac is saying yes on that. How about this? Darnell Washington, a half a touchdown. Over or under? Darnell Washington, a half a touchdown. Of course, he went out last week with the concussion. He's back. Darnell Washington, a half a touchdown. Over or under on that? Next on the offensive side, guys. Pittsburgh running backs, 100 yards. Over or under? Pittsburgh running backs. I'm talking Gainwell. I'm talking Warren. I'm talking the whole way down the list. Our running backs tonight, over 100 yards. Richard got Washington on that over, and I hope so too. I would love to see them get Darnell more involved in this offense, again, because it takes 4 guys to tackle him. How can you not give the guy that guy the ball? That's crazy to me. Crazy. Let's try to figure this one out. You have somebody on your team that nobody can tackle. It takes 4 to 5 guys. People bounce off of him. And you manage to get him the ball twice in a football game? Come on, guys. All right, next on the list, Steeler Freak says Miami will sell out to stop the run. Under on that one. Richard says better be over 100 yards. And that's for all of the guys. KJ, first 50-yard game. I hope you're right on the Caleb Johnson, but we will see on that. Let's see. Also, offense. Yeah, you know what? I got to jump over to defense now. Also talking about revenge game, Jalen Ramsey. Guys, does Jalen Ramsey, does he cause a turnover tonight? One half of a turnover by Jalen Ramsey caused tonight. Interception, forced fumble, scoop and score, whatever it is. Jalen Ramsey, one half of a caused turnover tonight, again, against his old team. A lot of times you see this on that. So Jalen Ramsey, a half of caused turnover. JPJ, 1.5 pass interference calls. This one's became pretty popular on the terrible board as of late. Bingo saying Ramsey, two turnovers. So he's going over on that. What about this one, guys? JPJ, Joey Porter Jr., 1.5 pass interference calls. Let's call it pass interferences and defensive holding, just to keep it simple. 1.5. Tyrone's saying an under on that. A couple more here, guys. How about this? Nick Herbig, a half sack. Yes, stopping the run is the big concern, of course, for the Steelers defense tonight against the Dolphins. But they'll pass. They have a southpaw back there. You're coming from his backside, which would be off to his right, our left. Is Herbig getting a sack? A half sack by Herbig tonight. Richard saying a JPJ under on the 1.5 interference calls. Bingo says pass interference and holding over like 3. Bingo says Herbig over on the sack. Richard saying Herbig also over on the sack. And finally, with the injuries, guys, we do this every week, and again, if there wasn't damning injuries every week, we wouldn't do this every week. But one that everyone has come to hate, but we still have to do it every week, guys. 1/2 of a devastating injury. 1/2 of a devastating injury, guys. Over or under. Talking about lose a starter or any player for a long period of time. Over or under on the devastating injury for the Steelers tonight. It's going to be very cold. Again, that plays hell on your body out there. Herbig under on the sack. Also, Steeler Freak says if Miami gets behind, Tua that's what I'm kind of counting on. Bingo says this, over or under Tua's concussions, 1.1.5. How many fingers will he be able to hold straight? 2? Over or under on that? I'm just playing, guys. But so there you go. That is the overs and unders. Tater Tot says, does this channel do we every once in a while? Yes, we do them. Not regularly though. Steeler Freak says Tua can get a concussion on absolutely. It's easy to get hurt when it's really cold. All the molecules and shit stops moving in your body, and it just plays hell. So again, I like our chances. Tua 0-6 in games under 40 degrees, 1 touchdown and 12 interceptions. 1 touchdown and 12 interceptions by Tua in any game under 40 degrees. Mind you, guys, it's going to be 3 with the wind chill tonight here in Pittsburgh. Again, not only Tua, but the Miami Dolphins just historically bad in December in the north when the weather's cold. So again, we have those going for us as well. Kosa says this Dolphins. You know what? Here's the thing about the Dolphins is running game. If it wasn't against the Saints and 2 games against the Jets and a game against whoever that other, I think Falcon, somebody bad, they would still be terrible. In this running game, wouldn't even be talked about. I promise you. I'm not. Listen, what they do is kind of unique. They run the perimeter a lot. They run it on the corners with their running backs more than they do between the tackles. So it's different. And again, if it was a better team, I would be a little bit more worried. But again, this team is who they are for a reason, and they don't win a lot for that reason. And again, they find it even harder to win in the weather element situations they'll be in tonight. So again, just keep sucking on that 35-3 loss there in Cleveland or Tater Tot. You guys will be all right. Also, this and Kosa. Bingo says, what I'm saying, cold as fuck, 72. I can't see that. Steeler Freak. Also, Kosa says, by the way, thanks for letting my Dolphins unload. You know what? I'll take him. He's made plays for us. He's made more plays for us than Minka's made for us. So again, we gave you the guy back who wasn't making plays, and we took the guy that did come and make plays. So you know what? You're certainly welcome, sir. And Steeler Freak says this: Ryan, the Jets D is just as bad as the. I know, but it's RD, so I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, I know. They're not, but they are. You know what I mean? And they gave up 250 yards against the Bills, so I can't sit here and defend them. But at the end of the day, I think we beat Miami. I do. I think we beat Miami, guys. I think we beat teams that are better than Miami, but we may have lost the teams that weren't as good. Who knows? I think we're going to win. As a matter of fact, guys, I'm going to say this. Yeah, how's Hill working out for you? Tyreek Hill. I'm sorry about that. Listen, I think we do. Again, it's the Dolphins. Again, it's very cold. Again, I think those things play to our advantage, guys. Let me get into the keys to winning and my prediction for today's game. As we are starting to round third on the show today, we love our head cases here. We bring them in by the dozens, Kosa. Let's see. So this is my game. This is my keys to winning this game today. On defense, stop the run. Stop the run. Stop the run. They're probably they're not passing that great this year. Of course, Tyreek Hill has been out with that leg, season-ending injury. Tua, I mean, come on, who knows what's up with this guy? But they're going to run the ball a lot. They've been doing that well against the Saints and the Jets and these other teams that's on their schedule. I don't see that changing. Stop the run. On offense, you got to take shots down the field as you did last week. Open it up. You can't continue 3-yard passes after 3-yard passes after 3-yard passes after 3 and out and 3 and outs and 3 and outs. You got to take the shot down the field every once in a while. You have to. It's 100% necessary just to keep the defense honest. Why they don't even do that sometimes is way beyond me, but that has to be done also. Number 1, stop the run. Number 2, take your shots down the field. And number 3, make less mistakes than the Miami Dolphins. Tonight, I think that the fundamentals are very important. And I think whatever team can be most successful with the fundamentals through this extreme weather ends out winning the football game. And I mean fundamentals from top to bottom, holding onto the ball. Don't lose the ball. Penalties, just everything. So my 3 keys, guys, stop the run on defense. On offense, take shots downfield. And number 3, make less mistakes in Miami. If those 3 things happen, we win this football game tonight. And my prediction, guys, is this. I have the Pittsburgh Steelers 20, the Miami Dolphins 14. That is my prediction for tonight's game, as the Steelers will improve to 8-6 to keep that cushion between them and the Ravens in the division with the tiebreakers. Again, with after only 3 games left after this Monday Night Football game tonight, guys. 2 at home, 2 on the road, 1 at home, I think is what it is. So again, it's a home game. Let's win it. Let's win it. Let's get on the board for a couple more here, guys. Now we're going to get ready to start wrapping the show up here soon. Not too soon. How's Hill? Thanks for not trading us Hill. Yeah, by all means. Remember that terrible rumor? Maybe the Steelers should get Hill. Hill is done, man. I know the Steelers love head cases. I'm a head case myself, Cody says. You know what? That's what we do. Also, Kosa says Tyrone the Quitter Hill is done, dude. That's always been my point. He's a one-trick pony, and you can't use that guy. And sometimes in just the most, in the most common offenses, you just can't. He's a freak, almost like Mike Wallace. He reminds me of a tall Mike Wallace when you talk about Tyreek Hill. And again, they're limited. Very good at what they do at that one thing, but again, very limited the whole rest of the way around. Tater Tot says Steelers are just cannon fodder this season. Is that a Cleveland word? Cannon fodder? Steeler Freak says McDaniel had his lunch taken by a freshman when he was in high school. Senior, he is a Rain Man with a clipboard. He's another one that's probably going to get. And you know what? I would have said that earlier, but they're winning now, so maybe he won't get canned. And that's, again, it's fine with me. Dolphins didn't invent the bully gate. Y'all soft. Bingo says, I thought that was the Redskins. Lindsay said Tua had so many concussions he can't function. You're right. It's gonna be fun, guys. Costa said Bullygate was a scam by a wimpy. Oh, wasn't there a racist or some shit involved? Or it was Miami. That's true. I forgot all about that. Tortilla, what gang is Tua going to be part of this week? Just depends how many fingers that he can actually move, right? Cody says, you guys stay in this chat long enough, you're going to become Steelers. Like and subscribe. It also, Somber says the Tyreek Hill humor or rumors were Izzy's thumbnail for most of the month. And also Mark Malone says Hill is a short Mike Wallace. He is. He's like a short Mike Wallace. Besides for that, that's what his game was. It was just speed. If he wasn't going to be able to burn down the middle and catch a ball over his shoulder and just burn everybody, there's not really much else to him. And then they try to use him in other ways. They try to use him in, reverses or jet sweeps. And they just don't have – they're very fast, but they lack a certain part of being athletic. And I hate to say that because they're very athletic. But you know what I mean? If you give Mike Wallace or Tyreek an end around or a jet sweep, there's just something about it. Again, they just don't fit that mold. Both one-trick ponies, both great players in their own right. But again, that's pretty much how that plays out for me. Armac says this: the thumbnail of Lamar Jackson in the Steeler jersey was silly as fuck. So as we said, guys, we are heading into tonight's Monday Night Football game. Your end zones will be gold. Your uniforms will be color rushed. Your Hall of Honor will be filled with 3 more Steeler greats, talking about Ben Roethlisberger, talking about Marquise Pouncey, and talking about Joey Porter Sr. tonight. A lot of big things going on down at the North Shore with this game against the Dolphins. Coast is saying 24-20. The Dolphins, I thought that was my pick, but just backwards, but I have 20-14. The Steelers, a lot of things going on down there, but stay bundled up. You know, whatever you do, make sure you got your gloves and everything. If you're going down to the game, it's going to be cold, especially 10 degrees with feeling like 4. And then that coming off the river as well. So, again, if you're heading down to the stadium, be sure to make sure you stay safe and bundled up, if you will. It makes me wonder what the crowd is going to be like tonight. That's another thing, guys. What's the crowd? What's the mood of the crowd? You know, it's cold. We were just booing our coach 2 weeks ago. What's the crowd situation going to be? Are we gonna pack the house? It's very cold. So again, that's going to be just something to kind of keep our eye on as well. Bingo says this. He says, I can remember Cowher grabbing Daddy Porter by the mat. Cowher was a beast, man. And you know what? And again, I'm not getting into that whole debate right now. I thought about that over the weekend. There was a certain energy that he required. And you almost had to match his energy. When you watched the Steelers play, the team was they were matching what the coach was doing. And now what I'm going to say next is, again, I'm not starting the debate. I'm just saying Tomlin's just a more relaxed guy. And again, if I'm playing, listen, if we're all together playing and one dude is really fired up and he's getting everybody fired up, you're going to play fired up. But if one guy, you know, if the leader is standing around with his hands in the pocket, again, I'm not saying he's a bad guy, but the players try to live up to their coaches. Dan Campbell in Detroit, the players want to play out of their mind for this guy just because he's intense. They want to match that. So again, I kind of thought that over the weekend. I was trying, you know, I was reading something and I thought that, you know, what does Mike Tomlin put out there that he wants you to live up to? That's what I'm saying. I don't know. These guys, they got to be. You have to trick 53 millionaires into putting their body on the line every Sunday. And again, I don't think that's an easy chore. And sometimes I think you have to get loud. Sometimes I think you have to bark. And sometimes I think you got to get in people's faces. That's just, again, my opinion. The Dolphins fans travel. I highly doubt it. Somber. We have a bunch of Dolphins fans in Pittsburgh because of Dan Marino. A lot of people like Dan Marino, of course, him being from here. So there are a lot of Dolphins fans in the area. So you'll see them, but chances are they're all going to have number 13 on. Nobody from this current team. Let me grab a couple more of these messages, guys. We are going to head into the trivia part of this show, guys. And today it's game day. It is game day. We're just hours. 6 hours and 21 minutes from kickoff. Let me get to where we be. All right. Mark Malone says they don't have the white receivers we do. How unfortunate. Bingo says I can remember Cowher. Yes, I sure do remember that. Phil still says still booing Teflon Dawn. It's going to be kind of something to keep your eye on, guys, just for the overall welfare of the team and the overall state of the team. Seeing what we're heading into in the offseason. Pay attention to what goes on tonight at the stadium, certainly with the coach and Renegade and all that stuff, guys. Lindsay says you better hope your quarterback don't hit his head on the frozen field. LOL Steel. Bingo says. Somber says they travel. Tortilla, not to the cold. And the football team don't even like traveling in the cold. They just have to. Steel gang all day, baby. That's right. Armax says the temp will feel like 9 degrees with the wind. Tyrone, Ryan Somber. Penguins own the Dolphins. Also, guys, before we do get into the trivia of the day, speaking of Penguins, they dropped 2 over the weekend. Our Pittsburgh Penguins with big leads. They were up 5-1 on Saturday. They lose 6-5 to the Sharks in overtime, and then up again yesterday. I think 3 goals. They lose 5-4 to the Mammoth in overtime. 2 blown leads. That has been both since Tristan Jarry has been traded away to Edmonton. But you know what? The Penguins will get their chance to see Tristan Jarry tomorrow as the Edmonton Oilers come to town to play our Penguins tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. That is Tuesday night. The Penguins come in with a 14-8-9 record. We're going to see Connor McDavid and company and Tristan Jarry coming back to the PPG Arena. We'll see how that plays out tomorrow. But tonight, guys, we got so much bigger fish to fry. Literally, these fish, mammals, whatever the hell they are, we got to fry these suckers. 0-3 in prime time this year, though, guys. So, again, we're due. We're certainly due. And we're going for 23 in a row on Monday night at home. This Pittsburgh Steelers team has not lost a Monday night home game since 1991. Pretty amazing, actually. It really is. John says Steelers left LA at 70 degrees and handled KC at home in that cold. It can be absolutely could be done. No two ways about it. But do I think it is? I don't. And again, Miami historically, I threw the number out last week, and I don't have it in front of me, but it was something like they're 13-47 this century in games 40 degrees or below, or so. I mean, it's just something ridiculous. So again, Dolphins are known for not being able to play up in the north in December. They cold Tyrone. So, guys, let's get into it. Before we do start the trivia, I do want to say this. We're live 5 days a week, every day right here, Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. every day right here on the tube. All right, guys, how well do you know your opponents? How well do you know your enemy? This is the part of the show, guys, where we put our thinking caps on and we try to see what we know about our opponent. Tortilla says Dan Marino, unretired. He will be back playing and starting with the Miami Dolphins tonight, guys. Marino is pretty bad. He's a pretty bad dude, man. He was the one that got away. That's a kind of an inside joke we have here at the studio. Dan Marino, the one that got away. All right, guys, this is the question of the day. Put your thinking caps on. Everybody on the board, everybody at home. Here we go. Question of the day. What was the last year the Miami Dolphins won their division? I'm looking for a calendar year. What was the last year the Miami Dolphins won their division? Of course, we earlier in the week we talked about when the last time they won a playoff game was, a few other things like this. But the question of the day, last year, or what was the last year the Miami Dolphins won their division? Throw your guesses up on the board if you got them. 2016 is what Tyrone is saying on the board. Cody is saying Bill Cosby. Armac is saying 2017 is the last time. Keep throwing them up, or you might know it. You might just have a guest throw it up, or it can't hurt. But do make sure you check out the 2 Dum Yinzer website, guys, over at www.the2dumyinzers.com. Mike does a lot of work over there. There is quite a few different things that you could get into. Mike does his dumb thoughts. Also, there is links to every show ever done by the 2 Dum Yinzers, and contact information, all kind of cool stuff. Go check out the website at www.the2dumyinzers.com. That's www.the2dumyinzers.com. All right, Phil is still saying 2017. Tortilla saying, I'm going to say 1986 had to be when Coke was still legit. Lindsay says 07. Phil still says 2017. Steeler Freak says four whores and 7 beers ago. Cody says, does the Dolphins fans not know? Does the Dolphin fan not know? Dan Marino gave my Dolphins all he had. Yeah, he sure did, man. And again, a very, very well-respected and loved person right here in Pittsburgh. Of course, Central Catholic grad, Pitt Panther. All right, guys, question of the day. What was the last year the Miami Dolphins won their division? This is a difficult one because New England was good for so long. Bunch of different guesses and answers on the board. Let's get into it. Last year, the Miami Dolphins won their division, guys. Was a year that Brady was out. Brady was out for most of the season, out through the playoffs. Guys, the last time the Miami Dolphins won the AFC East was 2008. 2008. So there you go. 2008. A lot of, some of you guys are really close on that, but it was 2008, the last time the Miami Dolphins won their division. They're going for some Cleveland Brown record shit there, man. It's just that's what them franchises do. Mark Malone says, did Cosby ever come out with those sleeping pills? I don't know, man. I'm a Bill Cosby guy. I like Bill Cosby. It was a shame. It was unfortunate what happened with him. I really didn't want that to be true. I grew up with Bill Cosby. He was somebody you looked up to. He was a doctor. His wife was a lawyer. You know what I mean? And then for that to happen in his real life, it kind of hits you a certain way if you're a certain age. No two ways about it. Armac says, we know football well, for sure. Tortilla says, damn, Dolphins should have hired Mike Tomlin. Lindsay, you are the closest. Absolutely. John says, Dan is the best prolific passer in the NFL. I agree. Dan Marino got jibbed by Ray Finkel. Are you right? Ray Finkel. Laces out, Dan. Or laces out Ray, or however that went. Phil says, cheers, Wad fans. Remember, as Vanilla said, it's just another game, and Teflon Dawn sucks. I do want to say this, guys. If you haven't had a chance, do go swing over. Check out any of our social media. We are all over the place. You can check us out on Facebook. You can check us out on the X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, Threads, and even over on TikTok. Stop by, hit the follow or like button, and keep up with what the two Dum Yinzers are up to on a day-to-day basis. Also, if you haven't had the chance yet, do hit the like button down below. Hit the sub button, subscribe, and even comment if you like. It helps out in the whole algorithm area and things like that. So we appreciate that. And before we do go for today, I do want to say this. 3i Atlas. Anybody paying attention to this thing? Does anybody know what the hell to even make of this thing? The 3i Atlas is going to be as close to the Earth at its closest point on Friday, the 19th. So again, my conspiracy theory ass, I'm thinking, what is this? Is this, who knows what this is? But anyway, the 3i Atlas will be at its closest point to Earth on Friday, the 19th. So just kind of something interesting as well. Kosa says, no thanks to Mike Tomlin. You're right. Please. You know what? I think I think other people are messing with us now because they realize that he is overrated and they realize these things and they're like, oh yeah, Mike Tomlin's so great. How can the Steelers ever get rid of him? And they play this reverse psychology shit. And again, I agree with what you're saying for the most part there. It's turned a proud winning franchise into constant mediocrity. Do you have an argument for that, anybody? That's from our friend, the Dolphins fan. I think that I don't think he's lying. Ricky Diehard Sports Fan says, I think Steelers win today without TJ Watt. I do want to say welcome to the terrible board, Ricky. And I do want to say I agree with you 100%. Thank you for your message. It was great. Field of Steel says 1-11 without Watt. Boom. Tortilla says Tomlin almost went to Miami. Cody says Casanova, see you here tomorrow, right? Kosa says that Steeler freak 100% on Dan Marino. Hope we win. Tyrone. Ricky, what's up, brother? Always great seeing new faces on the terrible board. Hope you're ready for the big game. And as we do get ready to wrap things up for the day, I do want to say thank you to everybody for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you. We truly, honestly do. We wouldn't do it without you guys. Thank you so much. I do want to say thank you to everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting here on the show. You are the lifeblood of this show, guys. And I couldn't say that I appreciated you anymore. I do appreciate you with everything I have, guys. Amazing as always. As always, thank you. And also everybody at home, I do want to say thank you so much, whether you're in the gym, in the car, at work, wherever you may be, with your earbuds in, your pods in. We thank you too. Everybody, guys. You guys are amazing. We couldn't do it without you. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you on this Monday Night Football Day. Are you ready for some football? That's right, baby. Pittsburgh Steelers tonight hosting the Miami Dolphins on the North Shore. This game starts at 8:15 as the kickoff. This will wrap up week 15 overall in the NFL. The Steelers 3.5 favorites over the Dolphins. They're already giving us some the underdog treatment for the next week's game against Detroit. We'll get into that so much more the rest of the week. Not even anything to worry about today. But Steelers Monday, Steelers game day, Monday Night Football, baby. We're going to be back at it tonight in the cold, as it's going to be right around 4 degrees for that Miami Dolphins team coming up from their cushy 75-degree average that they've been living in down there. So hopefully we could make that play to our advantage, guys. Stop the run is key. Number one tonight. Number two, take some shots down the field. You have to open up your offense more. Even if you don't plan on doing it consistently, you have to at some point open up your offense just to get the defense on their heels a little bit. And finally, make less mistakes than Miami. You're the home team. You got the weather advantage, so you want to make less mistakes than they do, because in a cold game like this, I think mistakes are at a mistake could go such a long way in a particular game like this tonight. So again, Steelers going for their 23rd straight Monday night win at home. 1991, the last time our Steelers lost a game at home on Monday Night Football, looking to continue that streak as well, and to also create that cushion back in between us and the Baltimore Ravens. I do want to jump in real quick, and I want to say thank you to Tortilla, my man. As always, he says this: remember, if she's a Dolphins fan, she's for the Miami streets. Thank you on that, sir. We'll certainly be put back into the show for good use, as we always do. Home field advantage, Ricky, I agree. Home field, you know what? And the thing is, it's not just home field advantage. It's Miami playing in 4-degree weather in December. It just generally doesn't go well, but that's why they play the game. We'll be tuning in tonight. I think you're right. Cody says I'm an Elvis fan. Steelers, John says this: Miami fans better come back tomorrow. We were having tuna fish left over. That's right. Come back tomorrow, guys, and we'll have fun. I'm not going to do anything terrible to you. Some of the guys might bite. Field of Steel might bite, but besides for that, I think you'll be okay. Also, this Costa says Cody 365 Casanova. That's a new one. Cody, I appreciate that, brother. Let's go. You the man. Tyrone, excuse me. Tyrone says, let's get this fucking dub. And Ricky, we appreciate that, brother. He says, I subscribe to your channel, man. We appreciate you, sir. Tyrone, we appreciate you. Here we go. That's right, Tyrone. Tyrone, the GOAT, my man. Miss Pittsburgh, I appreciate that greatly. Thank you so much. Great show as always. Skiller Freaks is my ex-girlfriend. Chirped like dolphin when I slipped the hit bong. Let me grab a couple more before we do take off for today. All right, Cody to Lindsay on that one. But as I said, guys, we'll be back tomorrow at our regular time to cover this game entirely. We're going to get into the numbers. We're going to get into what happened. We're going to get into what position we're in the playoffs, what's going on moving forward, getting ready for the Detroit game. Baltimore's next couple games coming up. Again, they have the Patriots, they have the Packers. So there's a lot going on, guys. Again, wrapping up this week 15 tonight on Monday Night Football. We'll be back tomorrow at our regular time to do it all over again. And again, guys, I hope everybody has the best Monday night. I hope everybody stays safe. Get them terrible towels out. Get your jersey ready. Bring all the good juju, guys, because tonight is the night. We get this big game on Monday night, this big win. And again, I say Steelers 20-14. Real quick, before anybody's on their way out, throw your predictions up on the board before we do go today. Kosa's saying go Dolphins. Ricky's saying there was a lot of injuries yesterday. You know what? And the crazy injuries too, Ricky. And that's the thing, It's not just a hammy anymore. Slap some tape on and get back out there. The NFL is a whole different game. Throw a couple predictions up on the board as we do get ready to leave for today. Tyrone is saying 28-20. Pittsburgh Steelers. I say 20-14. The Steelers. Again, guys, we appreciate everybody. So great seeing everybody. Cody says 54-3. I like that one a lot. 24-17, Ricky says. John is saying Tua's nickname is Flipper. Steelers, of course, Tyrone. I figured that, my friend. 20-17, Ricky says. Also, somber Steelers win due to Tua's CTE. Bensko special teams recovers 27-13 is what Bingo is saying. 27-24, Mike Tomlin is what Tortilla is saying. Guys, you were awesome as always. Again, I can't wait to get back tomorrow and do it some more. I can't wait to talk about this win as we will be getting ready for Victory Tuesday if the Steelers pull off this 23rd straight Monday night win at home, guys. 106-15 says Cody. I'm hyped too, Tyrone. Everybody, again, stay safe. If you're going to drink anything like this, oh yeah, if you are going to drink, make sure you stop by and get your case of Duquesne Pilsner before you do so. Made right here in Pittsburgh. The guys over at Duquesne Pilsner always go out of their way to include us in their promotions, and we like to do the same for them. So do stop by any of their social media, hit the like button, hit the follow. I'm sure they'll like that. Or do stop by and get yourself a case for the big game tonight. Duquesne Pilsner made right here in Pittsburgh, and as it says right on the can, grab a Duke. I agree, Tortilla. Let's get this baby, Tyrone. Get off in a half hour, my man. On my way home, Tyrone. Everybody's getting ready to go home and get ready for the game. Steeler Freak says 9-6, and it could go either way, or 9-6. It could go either way. Cody says 235-14. Bingo says flipper over her belly. Also, Tortilla, is that the rushing yards, Cody? Tater says go Browns. Hey Tater, it was nice having you, man. You were a good sport. No score. Cody says. Costa says, hey, where's that half dude that went by the name Cordell Stewart? I don't know. Sack Yard is what Something's saying. Guys, thank you so much. You guys have a great day. Again, stay warm, stay safe. If you're getting down to the stadium, by all means, bundle up, man. It's no joke out there. 4 degrees they're talking about at the game. We'll be back tomorrow at our regular time to get into this and so much more. We hope to see everybody then. For Mike doing some producing work, Finch Derpy off today, myself, the 2 Dum Yinzers. Everybody have a great Monday Night Football day. Enjoy the game. Let's bring this win back home. Cody, I thank you, my friend. Like and subscribe. Let's bring this win home to the Steelers tonight, because we need this en route to getting our playoff spot and keeping that cushion between us and Baltimore. So, guys, we will be on tomorrow. Costa will be on at 11:30 a.m., 11:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. right here on YouTube, Monday through Friday. So, just make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Cody, same time, 12. Tyra, yeah, basically 12 o'clock is usually when things start rolling. But, guys, again, enjoy the game tonight. Bring the Steelers a victory. Stay safe, and we'll see you in the morning. For Mike, myself, the 2 Dum Yinzers, have a great Monday. Enjoy the game, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.